Okay, so it now seems very clear that Prince Harry, a miserable, a shifty, and awkward Prince Harry, used this Middle Eastern fake royal tour with his wife, Meghan Markle, to scarf her. He was engaging in scarfing. Now, this basically means publicly rejecting, sending a message. And this was first picked up by Nancy and Stephanie Sidley, who, as ever, the Sidley twins of Twin Talks have the receipts. And you see there, Nancy says, Harry keeps scarfing Meghan on this trip and I'm here for it. Stephanie then pulled these two pictures and said, Steph might be onto something. Harry basically scarfed Meghan the entire time. And here's one of the videos where I think you can really see it, sort of on the last day. Do you see that? So just looking closer, Meghan offers her hand to Harry, and he's just not interested. And it wasn't the first time that this had happened on the visit. It was one of many. Okay, so let's look at this closely. Meghan gets out of the car. She puts the hand up. No, he doesn't want to take the hand, does he? Does not want the PDA. Look at that up close. The hand, and she then clasps her hands and puts her hands in her pocket because she's so annoyed about the rejection. Yeah, I think there's a lot of evidence of this actually. It is really clear. Like, he doesn't want to touch her in public. And she kept trying. And there were a couple of moments where, like, she did manage to grab hold of his arm during a photo. But to me, this was quite telling.
Yes, I think it shows a lack of purpose for both of them. They clearly are not aligned in the work that they're doing. Something has happened behind the scenes that is showing a clear divide. And I think this is just the beginning of what Harry is going to start to do. He's going to start to be a little bit more aggressive about not wanting to adhere to what Meghan is requesting. I think he is starting to not want to give in to all of her demands. And I think this is a sign of Harry showing, I am not going to yield to you when I don't want to. He is upset with her. And I think even part of this trip might be because of Meghan, and he's probably not wanting to be there at all. But he knows that she would not have been able to do this without him. And I think it's a sign that he's going to start showing himself to be a little bit more standoffish towards Meghan and her demands. This is the beginning of what we're seeing, and it will get worse.
A new video has ignited fresh speculation. According to some commentators, Prince Harry appeared to reject Meghan Markle not once, but twice, during recent public appearances. The footage spread rapidly online. Supporters dismissed the claims as overblown. Critics argued the moments revealed something much more significant. And suddenly, the internet was divided once again. So what actually happened? The controversy centers around two separate public interactions that body language observers have analyzed extensively. In one moment, Meghan appeared to move toward Harry during a public engagement. According to some viewers, Harry seemed focused elsewhere and did not immediately respond in the way many expected. A second interaction generated even more discussion. Commentators claimed Harry's reaction appeared unusually distant, leading some to speculate that tensions may exist behind the scenes. Within hours, social media exploded. Videos were slowed down. Screenshots were shared. Every movement became evidence in a growing debate. But here's where things become complicated. Body language is highly subjective. Two people can watch the exact same footage and reach completely different conclusions. What one observer sees as rejection, another may see as distraction. What one person calls tension, another may describe as a perfectly normal interaction. Yet that hasn't stopped the speculation. For years, Harry and Meghan have lived under an extraordinary level of scrutiny. Since stepping back from royal duties, they have remained among the most discussed couples in the world.
So, P. Dinah, very interesting information about what William is considering. I think he's completely right to do so. But do you agree with Tom Sykes that this Harry and Meghan visit unfortunately poses a serious issue for the king and makes it clear now that he has just lost any semblance of order?
I think it shows the king as weak. I think it shows him as someone who is not able to control his own son. He is not able to align the messaging of the royals because he has this son who is just doing willy-nilly what he wants to do with his wife, and they don't have the best interest of the royals. They're clearly only doing what they can for themselves. So I think it shows the king not in a good light. It doesn't show him as someone who is able to really hold his son accountable for everything that he is doing. He's just doing what he wants. So, I think if the king wants to be respected, if he wants to make sure that he handles this crisis with his brother and other things that are going to still come out because we know it's not over. He needs to get Harry and Meghan in line, and he needs to do something that keeps them from just showing up, popping up, on some fake royal tour. That cannot be good for the real royals. What are they thinking? This is almost, I believe, an emergency. I think it clearly shows you need to remove them from the website. There should be no direct links to Harry and Meghan via the real royals. That's where you need to begin. And then these other things around titles later and, who gets a title, who doesn't. I think that is a good thing. But there is something that needs to happen right now because I know they're probably planning more trips as we speak.
Totally. And it's also getting out of control, P. Dina, in terms of the public reaction. I mean, I know they're cretinous, but look at what the Republic Organization has been doing outside of Buckingham Palace this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, P. Dina, you keep talking just while we look at this.
Okay, yes. So right here, when we saw these billboards put up on the gates, that is just a beginning of backlash for the king. He will always be asked this question about what he knew, and he's going to have to keep addressing these issues, I think, for the rest of his reign. It would be in his best interest to just, I'm sorry, I feel this way. For a lot of people, they think this is not a good thing, but I think he should abdicate. I think there's too much going on that will compromise the current monarchy, and they have to have a clean slate. And we know that William and Catherine will be wonderful in this role. They need to just get rid of this horrible messaging, anything connected to Andrew, and start with William and Catherine to just get rid of this story, because as long as King Charles is on the throne, this will never go away. This messaging will elevate and get worse and worse. He's clearly not looking out for the monarchy as a whole. I think it's pretty selfish to want to stay on the throne despite all these horrible PR messagings with these photos and what he knew. And now there's stories coming out that the king knew about Andrew and passing on these secret documents to Epstein. He's not going to get away from it, and it's just staying on the real royals and William's future reign. I just think he needs to just abdicate.
Well, see, for me, I think we need to hear from Charles more. Like, the silence isn't working because actually, P. Dina, there was a piece of good news for the king this week, because it actually turned out that it looks like he had been the one advocating for Andrew to lose that formal role.
Yeah, and I think they'll continue to not talk about it, and that's the problem. We live in an information age right now. People need information. It's not like it used to be where access to information was slow and you could easily just not talk about it and it would go away. People need to hear from the king because of the fast news cycle and how much information is coming out every day. People have access to all these documents and they have questions. And when you don't say anything, you don't address the issue, it shows that you are not stepping into your leadership and taking a stand and making your thoughts known on an issue. And to me, that is weak leadership. I think it looks so bad that you don't say anything, you don't address it. And this will hurt the monarchy. Clearly, it will definitely hurt them, and things that are still yet to come out. Because trust me, the king knows what is still yet to come out. And not saying anything when we know what has happened, just shows that you are, like I said, weak. And people don't like that, and they want to hear from him. Absolutely.
It's also all kicked off this week, P. Diner, and I think it's been overshadowed, so it's worth us just spending a little bit of time on this in Prince Harry's ongoing legal action versus the Daily Mail. And I know there was the big flurry when Harry gave his evidence. I don't think he did well in the stand at all. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be thinking, what is this all about? What are these names? But what matters here is the fact that Harry is working with criminals, and Harry's lawyer, a very shady character, in my opinion, a sleazy guy at the very least, legally. He wants to be famous and he loves the attention. He tried to stop this guy from giving evidence because he wanted to do so from a remote location, which also seems very bizarre to me, given we have seen other people like David Furnish for the plaintiffs give evidence from a location abroad. But the point is, Pete Diner, this is a dirty, dodgy, awful case. I don't think someone who is still carrying a Duke title, still referring to himself as a prince, should have anything to do with this. And again, we come to the earlier point, which is that this shows Charles has lost control because he knew this was coming. He couldn't get Harry to change his mind and pull out of the case. But he also didn't have the balls, P. Diner, to say, okay, you go through with this, you're losing your titles.
Yeah. I think this shows how desperate he is, and you have to work with people who are criminals when you don't have a case, when you have a very weak argument and you have a situation where you're desperate. And that's exactly what it is. And another point to the king, look at Harry and how desperate he is, and what's going on with this case. How is the king once again going to be, able to reign when you have a son who is doing things against your wishes that could come back on you? And you just never know what things could be uncovered, what will happen from these lawsuits. Harry is just in a position now where he has lost his way. He has put himself in a position where he is going to always find himself in problems because he is with a rogue wife who doesn't want to conform to working with Harry's family, being someone that can take orders. Meghan wants to do what she wants to do. And I think this is all part of what Harry has to deal with now. And this is why he's working with people who are criminals, because you just got yourself in a position now where you just don't have any direction. Nothing makes sense. You're completely off the charts in everything that you do. You're losing money, and you're going to end up having to pay from this case because there's just no way they're going to be able to win this. I find it shocking that nothing has happened to Harry, considering all of the things that he has his hands in. He really is giving the royal family, I believe, a bad name. And what will they do? What will the king do? Absolutely nothing. It's disgusting. Harry needs to be put in his place desperately right now.
I know, and it just can't go on. Taking no action cannot go on.
Every public appearance attracts intense attention. Every interview generates headlines. Every perceived disagreement becomes a global talking point. Some royal commentators argue that the pressure itself may contribute to the endless cycle of rumors. When millions of people are searching for signs of trouble, even ordinary moments can become major news stories. Others believe repeated incidents deserve closer examination. They argue that patterns matter more than isolated moments. And that's exactly why these latest clips have generated so much interest. The discussion goes far beyond a single event. For many observers, it's about a broader question. How strong is the partnership that once appeared unbreakable? Harry and Meghan have spent years presenting a united front. Together they faced criticism, media scrutiny, and challenges that few public figures could imagine. They built a new life, launched major projects, and repeatedly emphasized their commitment to each other. That history makes today's speculation even more fascinating. Because if there truly are tensions, people want answers. And if there aren't, many wonder why every interaction continues to be interpreted through such a negative lens. The reality is that no viral clip can fully explain a relationship. A few seconds of footage rarely tell the whole story. Yet in the modern media landscape, perception often becomes its own reality. The more people discuss a moment, the bigger the story becomes. And that's exactly what has happened here. Whether these interactions were meaningful or completely innocent, they have once again placed Harry and Meghan at the center of a global conversation. A conversation that shows no signs of ending anytime soon. For now, neither Harry nor Meghan has publicly addressed the claims. And until they do, much of what we're hearing remains speculation rather than confirmed fact. But one thing is certain. The world continues to watch. And every new appearance will likely be analyzed just as closely as the last. So what do you think? Did these moments reveal genuine tension, or are people reading far too much into ordinary interactions? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more royal news and analysis.